All right, Leafs Talk. 3-man weave edition. How we doing tonight, fellas? It was Knies night. We actually got a game. We got an interesting story for the first 3-man debut. Matthew Knies. Matthew Knies debuts, and so do the three fellows on Leafs Talk. What's up?
Nothing's up with you, buddy.
Yeah, we're going to have to devise a system, I just realized, for how we're going to do this.
for doing words at random times.
Yeah,
I think we just talk over each other.
We'll do a little talking over each other. That's going to be a natural thing. I'll try to play host hot potato and throw it to different people. But okay. Beautiful goal by Tavares to end this one. A little bit of a scary moment with McCabe heading to the bench, but then he did return. But let's start with the story of the game. It was the debut of Matthew Knies. Bourne, what'd you see?
I texted you guys this earlier and I regret giving you my take already on Knies, but it's pretty simple. I am more impressed with his skill set than I thought I would be. And I am more concerned about his ability to be in the lineup in game one. And that's simply because there's a learning curve and there's some risks involved, and he's an offensive guy. And I just don't think the Leafs can watch a prospect of theirs turn one over. And it's not just the one turnover that people are thinking of when I say that. There's a few moments throughout the game where he tries a dangle or he's in a bad spot and it goes the other way. I love his skill set, but there's definitely moments where I was like, I don't know if they can do that in game one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you feeling the same way, Sammy?
I would like to know who measured him for his height and weight, because I'd like to get them on me so I can be 6'7" and 240, because he didn't. It's the National League, I guess.
College is different than 6'3" in the NHL, is what I like to say.
I guess it's the National League. You're looking pretty normal size out there, I would say. Like, I was sold this guy that's this big bruising power forward that is a kid, that's as big and mean as he is skilled. And I would say that he passed up at least 3 or 4 opportunities to lay a hit tonight when there was an opportunity for it. I thought that, like Bourne said, the skill set looked good. But, I think it was a pretty normal first game in the NHL, coming off playing in a college game where it was completely heartbreaking, like 48 hours ago. So I don't want to take too much out of it, but I wouldn't say I was too encouraged by his debut.
Okay, I this is great. I get to play the Homer nice guy. I get to pander to the Leaf fans because I was more impressed, I think, a little bit than you two guys. Maybe I had lower expectations for Matthew Knies, but they were like, sis, can we roll a pack here? Because, yeah, there were, I would say, in the first couple of periods, let me just check the old notes pad for how many times I jotted down notable plays by him. I thought he came out and looked like a little bit of baby giraffe. Like there was a little bit to start, a little bit of tentativeness, but he made 2 beautiful plays with his hands early in that game. One for a zone exit to Kerfoot, and then the other one that set Kerfoot up for a scoring opportunity. They were both like plays where there wasn't a ton of space. And that's actually where I did notice his size, where I went, oh, okay, those are big bodies that are up against Matthew Knies. These are big players. And he was still able to create some space, create some time, and use it. And this one's behind the net. He looked good. He looked strong. He's not getting bumped off. Exactly. He's not getting bumped off pucks. I would say that the skill and ability to use the body, those 2 things are higher than I anticipated them to be out of the chute against a desperate Panthers team that's playing for their playoff lives.
He's just got a ton of quick twitch muscles, right? Like there's a lot of herky jerkiness in a positive way, a lot of head fakes, a lot of trying stuff offensively. So like I can see how this is going to work. And a few times tonight, he took contact, right? He got smoked the one time by Smith at a tough angle. He got hit, against the end boards. And then, we know the turnover that happened, the one bad shift. There's just some plays where he's going to learn to put himself in spots where that doesn't happen. And you're just going to get this good stuff. And he is a legitimate, second line winger that can help. It's just, we have pushed so much in on this year. When is he that guy? And is it soon enough?
I'll just say this. Do you guys like, this is more of a spring training thing than it is usually other sports, but it is kind of one with hockey too. And we saw it actually play out this year, which it's unbelievable to think about the Nick Robertson storyline being this season. Like it feels like I was like, no, that was 4 years ago. No. The Nick Robertson out of training camp thing. But are you guys subscribers to the belief of when you enter camp, the lineup is set? It's a real strong baseball idea that there's really no spots up for grabs. And no matter what Matthew Knies does over the next 3 games, like he would essentially have to look like, Matthew Tkachuk for him to crack the lineup. Like that it would take something out of this world extraordinary, Sammy.
For you're talking about the playoffs.
Yeah, for him to be there.
Just like training camp.
Because, I mean training camp in the sense of like that's where they're at this point of the season, where the roster is already set, and these are just, hey, go out there and enjoy it, get your legs ready in case we have some playoff time.
Yeah, no, like there's just no way I picture him doing anything in these games to get into the first game of the playoffs. Like we've talked about this before where, you get into a game 5 or a game 6, you're down a couple games or, you can't get any scoring from the bottom half of your lineup. You want to add a little jolt into the lineup, which is something that's, coaches go to a little bit here and there. But like, listen, when Sam Lafferty gets back healthy and Yarncroc gets back healthy and, you're kind of getting your bottom 6 intact, like I don't think I can see a world where he's in the playoff roster for at least 3 or 4 games. Like I
mean, he's 100% playing against Tampa Bay in the playoffs for the Maple Leafs. I don't know
100%.
100%.
Okay. I'm not convinced.
Unless they sweep Tampa Bay. Like if they come out and they roll and he doesn't start in the lineup, maybe not. But, presuming that's not going to happen, he is going to provide an element. They've struggled to score a little bit since the deadline. I think there is a way he can play his way in, but I will say I kind of thought he was in, Sammy. Like I kind of had him penciled in the postseason lineup. And tonight was not like he did anything bad that made me go, he can't do it. It's just, it was a reminder for me to like temper expectations that he's still got a lot to learn.
I thought fatigue set in for him throughout this game where he started out like it was the hardest he's ever tried in a hockey game in his entire life. Like that first shift he had where he's got, Stahl in the spin cycle, which we showed there. He's looking like Sid versus Spezza in that one shift back in the day. And then he took a couple hits, and I kind of felt like he went away a little bit. Like towards the end of the game,
definitely disappeared in the third period.
Yeah, like
the third period.
Did he?
All my notes are the first 2. I don't know, but all my notes on
he had
Knies,
a shift. He had a shift with Tavares and Nylander in the third period. He had a shift with Marner and Matthews in the third period. It really felt like he was, like I said, a kid that had played in a national championship game and had played a ton of hockey and had flown around and had just got put into his first NHL game, and it kind of sunk in and he kind of went away. So I'll be interested to see. They'll probably put him in again tomorrow night, I would imagine. Like they're going to be sitting some guys, I would think, tomorrow. But yeah, we're always looking ahead to the playoffs here now. And I just don't know who you're taking out game 1 or game 2 to put him in. Maybe you can talk to me into later in the series, but I'm still not convinced, unlike you, Bourne, that he's getting in at all.
I'm with Bourne. I saw more from Matthew Knies tonight than I've seen during Lafferty's entire tenure. And I'm a Lafferty guy. And Lafferty just fought and Lafferty just scored a goal. But like I said, the hands that Matthew Knies exhibited tonight, I'm taking a shot on that upside. What's funny is like, I didn't think that was coincidental at all, that it was Lafferty that ended up hitting the pine for him. I think that it's, to me, a situation where I'm with Bourne in this sense. You're probably opening up this series against Tampa with that lineup, the one that you're already set in, unless to me Knies completely blows your doors off the next couple of games. But I was, like I said, the most impressive plays to me. I've seen him, by the way, do that little like cutback drill like every time you ever see Knies. So I wasn't surprised that was it. The thing that really shocked me and stood out to me was the hands. And it's what cost him and made him make the dumbest play of the game, where he tries to make the no-look pass that ends up on Duclair's stick, and it's a breakaway, big save by Samsonov. I loved what I saw with his like little short or small area playmaking. I don't think that Lafferty has anything skill set wise that was close to that. And so if you're telling me what's the upside of this run, it's that.
Yeah, it is going to be funny to see how they view. I just view their past playoff run.
They're taking a guy out they traded a first-round pick and a second-round pick for, who flies and is an NHLer for call it like that's a big take to have right away, that they're going to be taking Lafferty out. Is that what you think?
I don't think Lafferty was the reason why a first-round pick.
Well, I mean, they traded multiple. They traded multiple. They traded multiple picks to get those guys, right? Like, yeah, I would be very shocked if anyone's coming out. I just can't see who it is coming out early for this.
Czar's the guy. Yeah. It's, the only thing I'm curious to see is they seem to have decided to turn down the risk factor on their hockey club, right? Like that's their deadline, is they've gone lower risk. They've gone Luke Schenn and stable veteran guys. And they're like, all right, our elite difference makers are going to have to score us goals and win us the games, because we are not Galchenyucking it away or, Dermotting it away or whatever. And so Knies is that, where he presents some of that risk, but you're right. The upside is there too. So if they get down in the series, behind in games, I can see them wanting him, but there is definitely higher risk with him than the other guys.
I think the question comes down to, how much do you think you're going to play the other guys? Like, if you were to lean on your bottom six, like if Sam Lafferty was going to be playing more than 8 minutes a night, I would say, okay, we'll go with Sam Lafferty because he is the more reliable player, right? But the Leafs have been doing this like 11 forward thing now for months. They can afford to have a guy like Knies sit on the bench and chew up a few shifts, or like have the star players chew up a few shifts, and just afford to have Knies as more of a luxury. And just, again, if you're asking me what could come and be more important to you come playoff time, I think it's the 6'3" kid with the gorgeous hands that can make plays in the telephone booth that we saw tonight. Like, what is it that Lafferty's going to do for you that presents you more of an upside than that? Skate fast?
Yeah. Kill penalties, lean on guys. I don't know.
They
like, I just,
you know what? I'll tell you what it is. Know his role. That's what he'll do.
Bingo.
Yep.
Right now it's pretty unclear what's Knies going to be.
Yeah. I want to make this very clear. I really do believe still that you're going to start your lineup. You're going to start playoffs game one, just like they did last season, with the most conservative lineup possible. And that's what they're going to do when they hold court. I think I'm with Bourne, though, in the sense of they go down in the series or they're not getting something from their bottom six. That tenure that those two guys have, I would say Zach Aston-Reese lesser so, and Sam Lafferty. Boy, I would be looking over my shoulder if you have one bad game, you have two bad shifts. That they were going to want to look at that kid, man. Like that.
Listen, I said that later in this series, there's a chance he gets in if you need a change up in the bottom six. But like, it's just going to be, the noise is going to be deafening from everybody. The second that one of these guys has any bad shift, every single Leaf fan be like, put Knies in. Like, that's going to be the number one storyline in the first round of the playoffs here.
Okay, let me ask you guys, if your job's dependent on this, like right now, based on what you saw, and that last year, I think the Leafs got outscored 11-3 by Tampa's bottom six. And that this is going to be one of the major storylines going into this thing. You're telling me that you would rather see Sam Lafferty play in those games than
I think this is an Aston-Reese debate, not a Lafferty debate to me.
Yeah.
I think Zach Aston-Reese is he's been too good the last month of the season. He's got like 8 goals in his last 20 games. He's in.
But he's still Zach Aston-Reese. I got to be honest. I'm like, I'm so old. Like, I'm 40 now. I go so conservative in game one. I'm like, the Knies is going to be awesome when we need him, but I just can't. Yeah. I can't watch him try to juke someone, and now we go back the other way, and Braden Point goes 1,000 miles and shoots at my net. I can't.
I'm the biggest weather vane because I tweeted 2 nights ago, there's no way that Knies cracks.
Bunk's horned up. He's horned up. He had one good shift, and he's like, scratch everybody, put him in.
Buddy, you know what I just liked seeing? I just loved seeing the way that he operated behind the net. And like I said, the hands and the playmaking on a couple of them where I went, how did the puck get the plays? Under duress making plays is something that I have not seen from Lafferty or Zach Aston-Reese. Oh, and I hate saying that because Zach Aston-Reese actually made a couple of really nice plays over the last 2 weeks, but boy, oh boy. And also, got to give a little credit to Kerfoot that he's just a security blanket and made himself available. He was looking for Kerfoot all night long. He tried that alley-oop to Kerfoot. Like, I don't know. He took that big hit. He gets right back up.
Through the legs pass in his own zone to Kerfoot. That was quite interesting.
That one was bad.
But you guys
are going about it if he doesn't have that play tonight.
What play? The
one to Duclair.
I mean, I feel the exact same way as I do right now. Like I haven't even mentioned that giveaway. Like I just felt like I don't know. I'm just not as high on his performance as you are. I don't think. Obviously,
I actually dislike the play after the turnover more than. All right, so we actually have the turnover here. So, he's slick and talented wherever he is here. Where's old 2-3? I don't know.
He's I don't know what this play is.
No,
but either way,
it's play after he turns it over for me that I was like, he doesn't get it out of the zone after. Like, cut your losses and just the next touch. Let's get that one out past the blue. And he didn't. So I don't know if he jumps over the boards here at some point or what. But
this is a really long clip for what. David Sleep Sis. This is not the ticket item here. Or if it is, it's like going to come in 3 minutes. This completely threw me off. But
he's out there. He's out there.
Here we go. Here we go. Coming up.
Now we waited all this time, and here it is. All right, there he is on the
board. Back,
holds it back right to him.
But okay, so hang on. Back.
Here's what bugs me. Here's a bug. This touch too casual. So that worked out. It's this one. Sorry. Right. Does he get it again? He gets it again. Here. This.
There it is.
There. That bugs me. That bugs me. You're on the puck there. That one's got to get out. Win a battle.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I liked him. I was blown away by how good he looked and how comfortable he looked with an NHL lineup. Blown away. Yeah, blown away. My expectations, I think, were a lot lower than everybody else's. Like I said,
Justin Bourne.
Yeah, no, I know the fan base was sky high. I went complete opposite in terms of the zag. I thought that he was going to look like a college kid out there. Man, think about how many college debuts of players we've had in the past, or debuts of players in the past, where they just look completely out of place and out of sorts. And yeah, Sam, I completely agree with you that him wearing down throughout the game and not really showing up and me not having any notes about him basically from the third period on, that to me mattered. But the first two periods of this game, like I said, the skill set that he has with that side, the first period, he was phenomenal.
The first couple shifts, and then outside of that, I didn't really notice him a whole lot.
Yeah, I noticed him a lot more, actually. I noticed him again in the second period. I have 4 Matthew Knies positive notes.
Your guys are going to end up being right because they have literally risked the health. No, they've literally risked the health of their only good goalie playing him in non-important games at all against a desperate team tonight where they had to, he got 45 shots against him, and they're playing their goalie in meaningless games so that they can sign their 13th forward. They must be really, really high on him. Because boy, they're going to be playing Nick Chenard of Owen Sound Attack fame tomorrow night so that they can have this guy in the lineup. You guys are going to end up being right. I'm just telling you what I saw. There's no one in the Leafs lineup. I'm taking them out in game 1, but yeah,
you're right with that last point. They're in too deep to have this guy watch.
Yeah.
Okay. 47 shots against tonight for Samsonov.
Nice light night for him.
6 saves. What?
Right. Just nice light night. Just what you want for him in the last couple of games before the season.
Under siege. Now what? And here's the part where we're supposed to have answers for people, but now does he have to play tomorrow?
No, he's not playing tomorrow. They'll do anything. Again, the games are completely meaningless. So they'll throw whoever they need to in net. My guess,
this kid from the Attack is going to just go play the Lightning.
No,
have the room going to run him over.
Yeah, that poor kid. He's got what is it, an 860 save in the O?
Yeah, how many does he have? Do they know what tomorrow's going to be?
Isn't this Brandon Pridham's job, not mine, to figure this out? I thought this was the Brandon Pridham special here to make sure that, you had the right goalie in net for tomorrow night. Okay, I got to admit something to you guys, though. I could not give less of a shit about the games that Samsonov is playing right now. The whole Leafs Nation is crying. Cry. How many games did Ilya Samsonov play last year? Guess.
38.
He played 44. He played 44 games last year for the Caps. Guess how many games he's playing this year for the Toronto Maple Leafs?
42.
40. He's played 42. Tonight was his 43rd game of the season. Like, I maybe it's just me growing up in the era where Ed Belfour played every night, where your starting goalie played every night. But we are the market we're the market number one in North America because we had Kawhi Leonard. I really do believe this, where everybody is terrified with this load management bullshit. Like, I'm so sick of it. Like, let the hockey player play hockey, for God's sakes. He's going to play 43 games. He's going to play half of the season. Half. And people are having a complete nuclear meltdown about him playing in a couple of games. Shut up. He's fine. He's playing his best hockey in the year.
He's looked totally fine. He's looked totally fine. He hasn't been laboring at all through these games. He's been perfectly fine. There hasn't been one issue with him hobbling around, getting bonked in the head, getting fallen on by TJ Brodie. He's been perfectly fine. No problems with him.
Right.
Not ailing at all.
Put him in glass and don't play him
agreed.
at all.
Good take. Agreed.
His best hockey of the entire year has been as he's getting the net. What does every single goalie on planet Earth say? I want to play. The more I get the net, the better I feel about it. It's a joke. It's a joke that these people continue to do this, like Sam, that have absolutely no idea about what their sports science department is saying, have absolutely no idea that he's only Sam. You didn't even know how many games he played. You just guessed that he played 10 less games last year. Like, you're way off the mark on this one. So is everybody. Like, I know everyone's afraid of the goaltenders. I am, like, in this regard, by far. Like, I'm obviously, like, I've done my research. I'm watching the goaltender and I've talked to people about the position. Like, everyone is making a huge deal about this when it's not a story at all. The guy, every single time, this has been a story the entire year. When he gets bumped, when he gets nicked, when he makes an aggressive move, he hams it up a little bit. Someone, by the way, hammered me in the comments section the other day because they said that I don't know player movements because I said that he fakes it sometimes. He's an embellisher. He embellishes when things happen. I'm just looking at what I'm seeing here. I don't see an injured goalie. I see a guy who just made 46 saves against the Florida Panthers, and I'm not concerned about him wearing down in the postseason. I think it's a coward's take, and I think it's completely uninformed and based out of nothing.
I would be fine with 44 hockey games on the season. I don't need that to be, 7 of them in the last 14 days of the year. Given that he hasn't been a goalie who's consistently carried a starter's workload like this. Yep. So he's probably fine, but definitely with the faux injuries or injuries, I'd prefer that he rest the placebo effect, whatever you want. I don't like the guy looking hurt, but yeah, he's not playing awesome. Tonight he looked as good as he's looked all year. So
he was spectacular again tonight. And he's been spectacular in every one of these games that everyone's so afraid of.
Yeah. I mean, he's been excellent. It's awesome. It's exactly what you want. Yeah. You want him getting hot before the playoffs. Now it's right before the playoffs, and you put him on the shelf. Put him on the shelf.
Yeah.
If you put him on the shelf and you don't play him that game, because I think what it's coming down to
2 games left in 3 days.
Well, it's like, what were you going to do? So this is what I'm curious about, Sam. Like, you're so upset that he's playing, and I'm mentioning that he's played half of the games this year, which is basically what he would have been in line for all season long. So I guess I'm missing like what even the counter is. You wanted them to sit him for this game and tomorrow night and the game against.
I wanted him to get one more game before the end of the year. So maybe play the Rangers game. Like, in a perfect world, they could do something where he doesn't play either of these. They play the last game of the season and away you go.
So you wanted the hottest goal in basically the Leafs, since Jack Campbell actually was really hot at the end of the year. You wanted him to essentially not play for 2 whole weeks heading into the series against Tampa Bay. That's your position.
He would have played the Rangers game, which was 5 days before the series?
Yep. So you're saying you wanted to play him 1 game in 2 weeks.
Well, he played Saturday, and then he would have played that Saturday, Thursday. So 2 games.
Playing Saturday.
Well, no, you're right, but he would have played it. Yeah, I know he's playing too much. So I just listen. I mean, you think you obviously have dug in on this, and I just think watching the guy who's constantly laboring and hurting, and he's literally their only hope. It's kind of concerning to me that they're leaning on him, and it's just the league doesn't allow the Leafs to have an emergency call up, so they got to keep leaning on him. They're gonna have to play old Nicky Schwinnard and net tomorrow night probably. It's not an ideal scenario for me. So. Anyways,
it is wild that the league is like, no, you made this mess. You sorted it out.
Here's the thing with the league though, too. I was thinking about this as they denied them. I saw that graphic the other day of how much the Leafs and Tampa have gone over the salary cap in like the last 3 or 4 seasons. Did you guys see that?
Well, I mean, and Gary's baby in Arizona has a full roster of guys who haven't played in 6 years, but that's okay. But they try to make it. They try to have a goddamn emergency call up for for an actual emergency, and they're like, "No." The Bruins put out the goddamn Providence Bruins against the Flyers. They had 6 emergency call ups. No, Leafs try to call up a goalie. They send a goddamn SWAT team to Scotiabank Arena to kick down the door to make sure they're not doing it wrong. Anyways. This drives me nuts.
Yeah. I think we're good on Samsonov stuff, but my position is him playing half the games this year and playing basically the allotment that he had all season long down the stretch is fine by me. I wish that the Leafs themselves wouldn't have put such a heavy workload on him, but it's hard for me to blame Toronto tonight when, again, Florida is playing desperately to make the playoffs and not have Keith Tuck just roast them during the entire offseason about being soft. Could Matthew Tkachuk ask for another trade request? Like, is this going to happen here if they miss the playoffs?
I don't know, boy. They got some help. The Isles got smoked tonight. They'll get in.
They're going to get in. Like, they'd really have to blow it here now.
Well, you want the positive spin and why I was half rooting for Florida to win that in overtime?
Sure. Yes.
Montreal has the Florida Panthers pick because they got it in the Ben Sherratt trade. And so Habs fans are losing that. I got all these texts from Habs fans today going, I hope Leafs win. Go Leafs go. Big Leafs game tonight. And all I wanted was Florida to end up getting those 2 points so that you could stick it to the Habs fans a little bit. I didn't want them to have the Panthers out too.
Great. Yeah.
What?
That's a sneaky bonus for Leafs fans tonight.
Yeah, that is a sneaky bonus.
When do I get to kill Tavares and Nylander for having energy after 3-minute shifts in overtime? Is it now? Can I talk about them now?
I was going to say that Sam got what he wanted, but you
end of the game. The end of the game. Willie Nylander is parked in the D zone. Minute 40. Oh, Ekblad skates around him, cuts to the net because Willie just can't keep up, and a puck pops in the neutral zone, and Willie's like, ah! And off he goes at 1,000 miles an hour. Tavares 2.5 minutes at 3-on-3. He can barely move. Full burst of speed for the breakaway. These guys' commitment to going north and not back to their own net. It's the same thing that happens on the goal against, where neither guy tracks back. So the trailer, the extra guy, grabs a puck and shoots it in the net. Those two guys are among their most important players. It's just sometimes you can't tell it going both ways.
Yeah, they don't play well 3-on-3. Those guys should not play 3-on-3 together. No. I don't think Tavares should ever see the ice 3-on-3. He's one of their best offensive players, but it's too much open ice. He doesn't have the speed.
Mitch and Willie needs Matthews.
I love the goal. The backhand tuck is just that's elite net front finish. It's beautiful, but they were conserving a little energy there. No doubt.
Heavy saving.
Yeah.
It's a quite a take as he scores a beautiful backhander in overtime, which is like the Sam
2.5 minute shift. He's got gas for one down.
I gotta tell you, boys, I have scored that exact same goal on countless Toronto Beer League tendies. That backhand top corner, I have scored that countless times. Just as an aside,
it's not in my bag.
That's why I was shocked. That's why I'm shocked by that take. Okay, so. Quick other things. I'm going to go into rapid fire unless you guys have any other big picture topics. Do you guys, I guess maybe we spend a little time. I will continue to reiterate. So Matthews gets his 40th goal. Nice tip. Marner throws it in on net. Matthews gets a piece of it, puts it in the back of the net. I am a little tired of the whole, everybody said Matthews sucks and now he has 40 goals takes. I'm a little tired of him. Like it's starting to sting. Like, if you would have told Leaf fans, hey, Matthews is only going to get 40 goals at the beginning of this season,
75 games,
what would people have said? No, he'll have way more than that. Like that would have been the consensus take. So
he did score a lot of those that Sammy pointed out in when he scored 60, the tips in front, a lot of deflections.
Yeah, and I believe on our prediction show at the start of the year, I said Matthews was going to score 45 this year, and I got absolutely lauded for it. It's just, it's hard to score 60 goals. Like you
got the opposite of Lonnie. You got buried.
I got buried. And it's just like, I feel that scoring 60 goals in the NHL, although David Pastrnak and Connor McDavid made it look easy this year, it's hard to stay at that level. And I know he probably wanted to get to 50, but 40 is a nice round number. And I think he did not play very well for long stretches this year. Like, I think there were moments where we were pretty concerned about this. Like, I do think that that's a popular take because of how bad he looked for long stretches this year. How many times we came on this show and did so is Matthews going to show up this year kind of takes? Like, we talked about it a lot. It was a very, very popular talking point. So I'm not shocked by that, how people are saying that. I'm not going to say I like it, but I'm far, far from surprised that people are like, oh, I thought you said Matthews sucked. Like, I'm not surprised that's in the lexicon right now.
So 2 things. One is, have your guys' fears completely dissipated now, though, about his season? Like, that he has completely turned it back on and that he is the same normal guy? And 2, though, doesn't it also say something a little bit that we agree he didn't play very well, but he still kind of sleptwalk his way into 40 goals despite kind of only turning it on for a month? Like, that should also at least be mentioned here, Bourne.
Yeah, he's one of the 5 best players on earth. So yeah, that he could play like he's played and still put up those totals. Amazing. But also, I am not worried at all anymore. It has completely made me feel better. He has looked for a month now like the guy. If he played all year like he's played last month, he's a 60 goal guy.
Yeah. And listen, I think it's just pretty incredible as a Leaf fan to look back on the years of the guys that I used to prop up and the guys that I used to love, and to have a guy now in this market who has scored 40 goals 5 times before the age of 25. It's pretty remarkable. Like the guys who used to prop up, like, I drooled over a Clark MacArthur, Mikhail Grabowski, Kuhlman line. Drooled. That was the pinnacle. That was the pinnacle of fandom in Toronto for a long time. And now there's a guy that's going to score 100 points every year, and Matthews is going to score 40 goals every year. The fandom has changed. It'd be nice just for these guys to have some big playoff moments so you can kind of stop with the regular season player narrative that other fan bases really love to hit you in the face with. So good season again for Matthews.
No, it's incredible. And even I think about guys who got a bit of raw deals who were incredible goal scorers, like, man, Phil Kessel played in Toronto. And when I watched Phil Kessel, I do remember thinking, I'm never going to see a guy with a shot like this. And Matthews came and he just completely stole the one thing Phil had here, right? Like the wrist shot, which was Phil Kessel's Toronto Maple Leafs legacy until the 24/7 documentary came out. Yeah. And
good one, Randy.
Yeah. The 24/7 season gave us like 85 quotes. Imagine that came out when memes were hot. How many memes
we should go back and meme that.
We should. Retro memeing. That's the summer project.
Yeah, that is, dude, it'd be so worth it. Show him what you do, Bozy. Show him what you do. It's like, dude,
I forgot about that. Was so bad. Oh my god. Show him what you do.
Yeah, that was a tough one for Tyler Bozak. Like, just living in Phil's apartment and sitting there at the end of the bed playing vids all day. That was it. That was his big Toronto, big city life. Rapid fire. They obviously survived the McCabe injury, but it did make me think about, God, McCabe is already so important to this team. Like, had they actually lost him, I had already done the whole season's over. And I didn't expect to feel that way about Jake McCabe. I'll be honest. So yeah, at least he was fine. That's the only thought I have on this.
I think he's their best guy. I think he's their best guy. I adore the guy. I think he's unbelievable.
He's better than Brodie?
I think it's in the conversation. I think what he does for the Leafs, what they've looked like defensively since he's gotten here, he wins every shift he's on. Like, he's still, the one thing that Bourne's pointed out, and he is right about this, is there's just once in a while a blown shoe or like a little stumble that it's just like, a lot. He's very responsible. He makes the right play all the time. Like, he's really, really, really good. But there's just those 1 or 2 moments a game where you're like, oh, hold on to her. And I'm sure that won't come back to bite you in a big playoff game. But I love the guy.
Yeah, I forget if it was Kevin Papetti or someone had a great tweet about his numbers over the last, 10 games, whatever. The Leafs have controlled play when he's been on the ice. So he has become essential to their success in the postseason. And yeah, I'm with you, JD. It happened quick, but he is an integral part of their decor.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that I think he's more important than Brodie just because we have a really large data set that says everyone is the best when they're
Brodie got mad at a guy tonight.
Hey, headbutted somebody.
Yeah, saw that.
Montour?
Also,
yeah.
Yeah. Also, Bourne was the Panthers' goal, the Montour goal, Brodie's fault. Like, he looks a little deep on the play, and then he kind of gets back and guides him in there. But
he got caught in the ozone on it. If he could go in and make a play, and he realized he couldn't, and like turned and cut bait. But you know what? He comes back so hard. He buys time for. Is this the goal here? He buys time for who's he playing with? His partner has time to come across and switch. So he hands them off. They're fine. It just goes through his feet. It's 91 and 88 who don't come back, don't track.
Yeah.
Maybe Brodie played it well for a guy whose initial read was off.
Yeah, okay. That was sort of the way that I felt about it too. I just wanted to break that one down with old Justin Bourne. Last rapid fire note for me. I think it's only fair for balance that Liljegren and Schenn are both playing in this game, and they're both kind of doing Liljegren and Schenn things. But there was one play in particular where Liljegren tracked Verhaeghe in the third period on a loose puck, and it was just a one-on-one, and he tracked him down, and he took the body of Verhaeghe and made the play safe. And all I could think was Luke Schenn would have been 45 feet behind Verhaeghe on that play, and it was a really good moment for Liljegren, and I couldn't help but kind of feel one for him in that moment. Schenn had some nice plays too, some cycle killing. I was texting you guys, but do you know the play I'm talking about?
With Liljegren?
I know Sam seems
I exactly
to.
do. Yes, I know exactly the play you're talking about. It was a great play. Lifted the stick, got underneath him, and he broke the puck out the other way. It was a really nice play. Yeah. As a standing member of Luke's troops, you know this. You've been questioning my love recently.
Yeah, because your group chat texts are all about how you don't think Schenn is good.
There's a scoring chance every shift.
Hey, JD, you're like, I love watching him kill cycles. It's like, well, good, because he's gonna have lots of chance to do that in his own end.
There's a scoring chance every shift. I haven't flipped because I still like the physicality, and I'm willing to eat a couple scoring chances here and there to have him in there and to have him as an adult versus Tampa. But the play that Tkachuk gets like 7 whacks on Samsonov when he's like in front of the net there, I'm like, oh my God. And Luke's like, I got him after like 8 whacks at his stick. Yeah. Luke's troop member here. It's a lot of scoring chances when he's on the ice.
I'll say, I don't know that tryout is complete. I don't, you mentioned, I think there's still a couple games to decide if it's 37 or 2 in game 1.
Yeah.
Here's where I would acknowledge my bias is that Schenn does kill a cycle with his man strength when he just pins somebody. And obviously when he hits somebody,
strong.
It's just, he is country strong. Like he is just
like big blue ox on the way home.
Yeah, that man bales some hay, Bubba. He fires that stuff on the back of a truck, no problem.
But this is actually where I think analytics are so important to balance stuff out. Because if you just ask me based on the eye test, Schenn could get caved in all night, and then he comes up with 2 big hits and pins a guy and takes the puck from him. And I go, that's what you need conclusively. And all the charts would be like, they'd be like after Logan Roy died, the drop off in the stock price. There's dad. That's what the chart would look like for Luke Schenn. And I would still be like, I don't care. This is the guy that we need to have there. So I get it. There is something to me about roster balance, and there is something about having that for my money, I can't shake it. And I still have it in there for game 1, even if Liljegren I thought was actually pretty impressive tonight. And I agree. The tryout's not over.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Schenn plays game 1 as of today, but there's time.
Yeah. Any other rapid fire topics for the two of you, or wrap it up?
I think you can wrap
David
it up.
Kampf rules is my 2 cents to add. I love David Kampf. That's all.
He's turning it up at the right time. He's getting hot at the right time.
You know what? How about this? I got a hot take on the way out the door.
Okay.
Same money next year. 3-year contract, same money. Kampf or Bunting, 3.5 or something like that.
If I had to pick between them,
yeah, you get one of them.
Wow, listen, you got a captive audience here. We're both saying Kampf 10 times. We crap on Bunting every Leafs talk. Every Leafs talk.
You're talking to 2 guys who last year, literally after 2 games, were talking about how much they love David Kampf. We share routinely pictures of David Kampf tarps off because he's got like the greatest 8-pack of all time. And we talk about his dedication on the ice and how he
but Kampf all day. Camp all day.
My point is, it's camp for me.
Yeah. I'll zag. I'm not gonna zag. I'm gonna say what the right answer is, which is it's the guy who can score over 20 goals. It's Michael Bunting. Clearly, it's Michael Bunting. But here's what I'll say: on this Leafs team, on this particular team, I actually think there's a strong case for Kampf. Like the rest of the NHL will be looking at this, going, "What are you talking about?" But for this Leafs team, Kampf is, when he's at his best, he's so critically important. It's actually why when he struggled for some parts of this season, it was a pretty notable story for them. But no, Sammy, you're right. He's back on his game at the right time. Yeah. He's 100% the defensive zone draw. This team has Ryan O'Reilly on it, and it's a real conversation who you would want taking a defensive zone draw late in a game with a 1-goal lead. I think that's a pretty strong testament to him.
I did have one more quick note. Ryan O'Reilly tonight with the Summit Series dangle on that defenseman. I don't know who it was, but he was looking he was looking like Phil Esposito with that toe drag into the middle. It was so old school. Like there was no curl on that. It was just drop the shoulder, bring the stick across.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my God.
He made some nice plays tonight.
He did. He's been good since he came back. He's looking fast.
Dude. Now you have Knies and Ryan O'Reilly, same guy, big body dudes who make beautiful plays with their nice hands inside. Honestly, who's to say Knies doesn't win a Selke this year? Like that's who's to say?
Wrap it up. Put your boner away, pal. Wrap it up.
Hey, so this is Leafs Talk. I'm JD Bunkis, Justin Bourne, Sam McKee. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JD Bunkis, at JT Bourne, and at Sam A. McKee. You can hit the thumbs up button on YouTube. You can subscribe or follow the podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get podcasts. You can leave a 5-star review if you like it. Thanks to David Siss, our producer, and our guy Devang Desai, who is actually just like sitting around watching the show tonight. The lurker, Devang the lurker. Anyways, thanks to all the fellas. We will catch you tomorrow night after the Tampa game.